Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of this week's, or like literally today's. I just took my notes and am now recording this not long after it first came out. Episode of Tensei Shitara Slime Again. We're at episode 20. It feels kind of weird being all the way at 20 and knowing that the series doesn't have much left for the anime. Hopefully we'll get a second season. Like I've already said, I would like to read the light novels and then maybe the manga after the light novels is what I'm thinking. But either way, I'd like to buy those. Hopefully there is an official English translation I can buy. But either way, let's talk about the episode. I liked it a lot. It was kind of your same old episode of this series that we always get, but that I always praise because it's really good. There was a ton of content. I always have like an absolute mountain of notes, even if I get through them really quickly. All these bullet points whenever I talk about this show, I always have a mountain of bullet points to hit every episode because we have so much information thrown at us. But either way, we start off with them feasting after defeating Charybdis, and they're cooking up one of the megalodons, and I would not eat that. Like, I was just thinking, not only is this some kind of weird demon fish thing, but it was also made using the corpse of a dragon, so it was like an evil demon fish made from a corpse. I don't know, I don't think it's safe to eat. I don't trust it. But they're also going to use the scales and all that to make weapons and armor and other things. So it all makes sense, and it's, again, kind of the typical thing you would expect from the series. And then they had Haruna do the salt meme, and I don't know why this is so popular in Japan, apparently, the Salt Bay meme, but I've seen it in at least like 3 or 4 anime by now. So, yeah, they had Haruna do it. I don't know how I'm feeling, but it was there. I love the Lizard Bros, though. We had just a quick gag with them and Gabiru, of course, with Geld. Milim doesn't even remember why she became a demon lord. Milim, I said, I don't know if it was last week, but the week before, she's grown on me so much that she's possibly my favorite character in the entire series. But she basically just says out of nowhere, gotta go to work. I'll tell the other demon lords not to mess with Rimuru in this place. And it was so good. I love her as a character because, of course, she was like, I wouldn't mind if you became a demon lord too, Rimuru. And he's like, was there any merit to it? Why would I want to be a demon lord? But she apparently has work she has to go do with the others. So it's interesting that there is some kind of organization to it all. I love one line she said, I think, like verbatim, at least for the subs, was, "It can't trick me, I'm too smart, wahaha," and then she gives the wahaha, and then whoosh, she just sound effects herself as she flies away. She provides her own sound effects. It was so good. I just love, "Can't trick me, I'm too smart, wahaha," and then whooshes out of there. It was so good. Like I said, Milim is probably the best character, probably my favorite character at this point. We then have Rimuru having what's kind of more than a dream. It's like a lingering will from Shizu. Shizu wants Rimuru to go and save kids at the royal capital. He knows from what she told him before that it's at the kingdom of Ingracia. So he reaches the point where he says, all of these allies that I've gained are really reliable and trustworthy. I now trust them enough to leave them. So he just decides he's taking Ranga with them. He leaves them. And it's been 2 years. Doesn't feel like it's been that long since he's been there, but we have had a lot of time skips for like a couple months here and there, so it makes sense. And it also makes sense why they were able to build the town of Rimuru as it's coming up, because it looks incredibly developed there towards the end when he's leaving it, but also it makes sense. If it's been 2 years, they've had time with all the people they have now. Ingracia then lies to the west. We get a whole bunch of information coming. It has the headquarters of the Free Union, which is sort of the guild that oversees all the sort of smaller guild branches, like Fuse is a guild branch manager or head or whatever. So that's where he needs to go, and also Freedom Academy, which is kind of part of it. He mentions the name Yuki Kagarazaki. He then makes the 3-day journey, and we end up there. The place looks really cool. I'm a sucker for really well-designed fantasy cities, and I would like to see more of this fantasy city. I don't know, I just like seeing these That's one of my favorite things about isekai or fantasy video games, or just fantasy shows and stuff. Seeing how the cities are designed. Like I said, I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. So from there, Rimuru wears his mask to get in because it hides his presence, which is good in case they have some sort of monster detection. In addition to that, Fuse gave him an ID so he can get in. He goes to meet with the Grand Master of the Free Union, and that turns out to be the name he mentioned earlier, Yuki Kagurazaki, who is, I think, a former student of Shizu's. I love the exchange they have with Otherworlder info. It was so good. I was dying. One of my favorite things was, how many FFs like Final Fantasies? How many Final Fantasies are we up to? And Rimuru just very seriously says 19, and then we have the big reaction from Yuki. And all of Yuki's reactions to everything that Rimuru did was really great. I love him as a character. And I love Great Sage too. Great Sage was great in that she's like, this is a complete waste of my power, and Rimuru's like, I think it's an amazing use of your power. So it was really, really great. We have a Hoseki no Kuni reference as well. That one hit me hard, and I assume that all the other series they were mentioning, because of this, they're probably all real series. They're just series that I don't recognize. So from there, Yuki sort of brings up the possibility. So he's like, so, did you come to ask me how you're going to escape from this world? Because he's thinking that, if people can come from that world to this one, and we have stories back in the other world of like Oni and demons and all of that all over the world, then it's kind of probably possible that there is some method to go from this world over to that world as well. We just need to figure out what that method is, which again totally makes sense. I would love for a return to the real world arc at some point. That would be really interesting to see. So yeah, travel both ways doesn't seem completely impossible, but Rimuru is planning to just stay with his friends, which I love, the development that's happened over these 2 years, where Rimuru's like, I don't have a reason to go back to the old world because I have all my friends here, which I loved a lot. Also, it seems that Yuki is also reincarnated, not a summon, or maybe not reincarnated, but spontaneously came there, is sort of the way he described it. Either way, the way he describes himself doesn't seem to be a summon. Or maybe he was just differentiating himself from child summons, but who knows. Either way, he was bringing up later that he and Rimuru were in a different classification than Shizu and the kids, but we'll see. What happened next? Yuki makes Rimuru a teacher, complete with all the pay and housing and everything that comes with. He mentions Hinata Sakaguchi, who surpassed Shizu by the age of 15, and in addition is totally the person we saw their character design now, is totally the person we saw fighting Rimuru in the first opening. So then he mentions that summons are different from people that are reincarnated or came here spontaneously. So to me that makes, between us and the way Shizu and the kids were, so it makes me think Yuki also was reincarnated, but could possibly also be just not a summon. He could have come here by some other method, which all makes sense. He mentions that the 5 kids are all summons, and that the difference is that summons have a purpose, and their powers develop for that purpose. And all the kids are failures from summoning heroes, because logically, instead of putting in all the food and money and effort it would take, and time and training to raise up an army, it's a lot more kind of economic, I guess, for kingdoms, instead of raising up armies, to just summon one powerful hero, or a few powerful heroes, probably. They probably summon one every couple of years or something, so that they can have a few in their pockets. But the thing that happens is they don't really always know what they're going to get, so sometimes they get a kid instead of an adult, and if they get a kid, there's too much power from the summon to go into the one young growing body, and so the kid dies within 5 years if a child is summoned. It seemed that wasn't the case, though, for Shizu, because Shizu had to have lived longer than 5 years. She seemed like she was alive there for a long time, but I guess maybe we'll learn later. But the kids all have about 5 years to live, probably. And Rimuru, obviously he's the main character, he's going to find a way to save them. At least that's my assumption. I could be wrong. The series could just decide, no, things don't work out all peachy like that all the time. But the kids are named Kenya Misaki, Ryota Sekiguchi, and as soon as I saw the first two names, I was like, to be summoned from randomly anywhere in the world, there is an inordinate amount of Japanese people, especially given that's the case once again for Hinata and Rimuru and Shizu as well. Rimuru wasn't to summon, but you get the point. I was like, it's an inordinate amount of Japanese people, and Yuki as well is another Japanese otherworlder. But that might make sense as well. Maybe this is just in the other world's analog version of Japan, and there's a whole other amount of existence in this world that is analogous to the rest of the world in the real world. So this world that the Tensei Shitara Slime Datteiken takes place in could be absolutely massive, actually, from all we can know. So yeah. Other than those first two, there was Gail Gibson, Alice Rondo, and Chloe Albert. So, yeah, that's where we end off pretty much. I thought it was a great episode. There's a lot of information to process, though. A lot to go through. Also, I like the new city a lot, and I like the new characters a bunch. Yuki especially I really, really liked, but I feel like the kids have a lot of potential as characters. Especially, I don't know, maybe I'm reading into this incorrectly, but the way Chloe was reacting to things, it seemed like she was kind of special and different compared to the other kid characters, so I don't know if she's going to be more important, or if she has some special secret, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was just reading into the reactions wrong, because it seemed like the way she reacted and the camera focused on her a few times, it felt like she was more important for some reason, but maybe I'm reading into it incorrectly. So yeah, I like the new characters, new city and all that. I'd give it a depressingly 9 dying kids out of 10. That was another thing that I didn't bring up, where Rimuru was like, I was kind of expecting them to be all depressing and everything since they only have 5 years to live, but they're just acting like normal kids trying to attack him and stuff. But yeah, I thought it was great. 9 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed it. So that's it. Thank you once again for watching. If you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought of this episode, what you thought of my thoughts on it and all that. Subscribe for more. Tensei Shitara Slime Datteiken, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel or talk to you there. And if you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us on Discord about this series or anything else, then just ask and I can give you a link. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.